This is lame. Might as well delete the app because I ain't getting no match. Now let's see how this goes. Have you ever met someone and you two start getting closer? Then during the first few weeks or months it's all sunshine and rainbows, and all of a sudden things started getting dark and stormy? No? Well, you lucky, because that's what happened in this story. Nice locks. They're as beautiful as your smile.
Aw, thank you so much.
So we started chatting for a little bit, got closer as time passed, and started seeing each other in person. Her hair was pretty dope, by the way. But anyways, everything seemed promising. Like, we were joking around, having some good times with each other, and she was pretty easy to talk to. She even gave me the impression that I could trust her. But then after a while, she got comfortable and started showing her true colors. There were many times where I could have been like, nope. But here's the thing, I got a bit too attached. So I sort of kind of looked past her toxic behavior because I was too busy seeking the good in her, along with making her feelings more important than mine due to me having sympathy after constantly listening to these jacked up stories she kept telling me while we were video chatting. And the funny thing about this is that she even warned me, but I was like, nah. Yep. So there were many times where something like this happened.
I can come by to visit Friday around 2 o'clock.
Okay, cool. That would be good.
That is not the energy I'm looking for. Show some enthusiasm.
What? Despite how annoying that was, I try to have at least a little bit of an understanding. Because we're two different people with different temperaments and ways of expressing ourselves, and she's just not used to having someone who is calm-natured. But there were still a few things that really got under my skin. Number one, most of the time that happened through texting, which can be the ultimate fuel to a fire depending on the person you're talking to because it lacks tone. And you want to know what lack of tone leads to? Misunderstandings. Number two, there were a few times where that also happened while we were video chatting, which is very frustrating because I really felt as if I was giving her my genuine response to whatever she was telling me, and it was just not enough for her. And lastly, number three, I've accepted her as she was, even had the patience to keep putting up with her and at least try to understand her ways. And instead of her returning that same favor, she just kept griping about me being too calm for her. Like, if you can't accept me as I am, just don't accept me at all. So here's one scenario where her hunger for excitement took place. One night we were going back and forth via text, because I was at work at the time, over how she felt that I wasn't giving her the energy that she wanted, and how I don't feel the need to be extra just to show passion, excitement, or happiness, and she didn't have a problem with that when she was over my house. Then she said,
Honestly, you seemed distracted when I was over your house.
Me? Distracted? How? I mean, we both were watching YouTube and you were paying very close attention to the TV. So, how was I the only one distracted? So I asked her, how does it seem like I was distracted? Then she responded with,
That's just how I feel.
Come on now, how's that explaining anything? I'm trying to figure out the problem here. So now I start to get a bit confused. And maybe it would have been better if I would have just responded with a simple, okay. You know, just to end the conversation right there. But instead, with me not being able to think so clearly because of how bad my nerves were, and most of all being tired of her mess, but at the same time not wanting to hurt her feelings, I ended up saying a little something as an attempt to defend myself that I did not think would trigger her. And that little something was, it's not what you think.
Don't tell me how to feel.
Okay, so I knew that she have every right to feel however she want. But at the same time, I got this strong vibe of her using that right to create a problem that wasn't even there in the first place. Because I knew that she knew that I was giving her all the attention whenever we're both not paying attention to the TV. So I proceeded to explain, hoping that she would be a little more open-minded so she can understand me and the situation better. And basically to her, me explaining and speaking up for myself is a problem. So she told me that I didn't care anything about her feelings. But what about how I feel?
It's not about how you feel. It's how I feel. It's not about what you think. It's what I think. It's not about what you want. It's what I want.
Why you acting?
It's not about what you need. It's what I need.
Come on, don't be like that.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay, alright, I get it. It's all about you. Not both of us, just you. If things don't go your way, it's no way. So a little after our little fallout, I decided to be the bigger person. Sorry about the misunderstanding. I really hate that we fell out. And you would think that things would be better afterwards. But this is where she started being evasive and even more stuck up. And of course, I should have just left her alone. But my heart was stronger than my mind at the time, which was sorta kinda bad. But it didn't take too long for it all to come to an end. And how it ended was pretty ridiculous. Here's what happened. Maybe I should call and check on her. Oh, would you look at there? I was just about to call you.
If you was to call and wake me up, I would have said some bad things to you.
Well, that wasn't necessary now, was it? She woke up right before I actually called her. And I would have told her that, but I thought she was joking. I mean, this was happening through a text after all. Plus, we did joke around at times. So I replied with this. Oh, I wouldn't care. It was close to the time you woke up anyways.
That's so inconsiderate.
Oh, she's serious. So I'm guessing me wanting to check and see if she was good was inconsiderate. Because joking or not, it was still an act of me caring about her. But nervous Zach couldn't think clearly enough to have that response. Instead, I said, at least I waited. Which was also a caring.
That's not how that works.
Nothing works for you. So she started griping at me about how insensitive I was. And I was like, yo, chill out. I was just messing with you.
But you wasn't though.
You're only saying that because you knew you were making me upset. Well, duh. Of course I would only say that when I knew I was making her upset. I didn't even expect for her to make such a big deal. I mean, I should because she's a drama queen. But I thought it was okay because she kept putting me under the impression of me being her favorite person. And I found it pretty strange how it was okay for her to joke with me in a similar manner, and she even made some pretty shady remarks towards me at times and was serious about it. Plus, there were many times where she called and woke me up and I just either stayed asleep and got back to her later, or I just answered to see what she wanted. Why? Because she was my favorite person. So I once again started explaining myself, still not being mindful of how pointless it was, because she wasn't going to change the way she see and feel about things, and at least try to understand. So she responded with this.
I was gonna send you a long paragraph, but I'm not about to argue with you. Leave me alone.
Well, that was pretty mature. There wasn't even a need to argue. Well, maybe to her because she's that sensitive. Which is the reason why I'm going to go ahead and leave her alone because I can't deal. But later, with me being such a nice person at the time, I went ahead and did what I felt was right, which was to apologize, because I thought I still had to be mindful of how she felt. Then she basically came at me like I was this horrible person over the simple fact of me saying that I was going to call her and mistakenly thinking she was joking. Then she later just stopped talking to me. So, just like the previous times, I should have just let her go. But I was pretty persistent for quite some time. And by some time, I meant for a couple of days. Like, I was really trying to get her to talk to me with these long paragraphs full of feelings and apologies when I didn't even do anything wrong. And to make matters even better, I even agreed to me being wrong. In other words, I was basically degrading myself all because I wanted to hold on to something that wasn't good for me. But after a while, I went ahead and decided to give her some time, which was actually a good decision, because during that time of me not saying anything else to her was actually the time that I needed to find myself and to actually get a chance to think and realize everything. So therefore, I went from being upset to being thankful for her basically detoxing herself out of my life. I didn't even bother checking back with her. I just let her go and let life go on. Even though I couldn't find it in myself to make that decision at first because of how attached I was, I thought of something more important as time went by, which was my peace of mind and self-respect. Holding on to someone toxic because I was hoping that things would be better through time wasn't doing anything but causing harm. And constantly allowing her to give me a hard time just because I felt so hard for her wasn't a very wise decision either. Because I knew I'm better than that. And I deserve better than what I chose to deal with. So to anyone who is dealing with a situation similar to this one, I hope that inspired you. I hope you enjoyed this story, which is my first story for this channel that took me so long to finish. And if you did, you know what to do. Go ahead and turn that like button blue and share this video with your friends and family. And if you want to see more of Blue Bun Tunes, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And don't forget the bell so you'll be the first one to know about my next video. Much love to you all, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.